Now that we're in our conducting position, we know where our hands go, what we should look like on the podium, talk about what to do. In conducting, we have really two forms of conducting. We have focal point conducting and non-focal point conducting. Most drum majors use focal point conducting, and that's what I like to teach as well. I think it's easier for you as a drum major. It's easier for the band to understand what you're doing. It just communicates more all around. All right, so our focal point is going to be where our hands are. Okay? As we put our hands there, this is going to be our home. Every time we have a beat, it's going to hit right here. All right, now there are two parts to a beat. We have the ictus, which is when our hand hits. That should be the exact moment the tempo hits that particular beat. The second part of that is our rebound. Okay, so anytime we hit our ictus on the beat, we're going to have a rebound as well. Generally, as in physics, we want an equal and opposite reaction. So if we're doing, we don't want giant ictus, little rebound. Okay, unless the style changes or something like that. All right, so focal point conducting, we're going to have here, position that we had. We start conducting with the band. Okay, and all of this happens in the same spot. Okay, so a good thing to start doing to work on this is work on just doing one beat. We want to come here, get a metronome on, turn it on whatever tempo you want. We're just going to go here. Okay, as we talked about, we have that C here. The ictus doesn't happen in our elbow, doesn't happen in our wrist, doesn't happen in our hand, it happens in our fingertips. Okay, we want boom, 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 boom. It's almost like a whip. Okay, just take a whip, throw it out. The very tip of it breaks the speed of sound, and that's what causes the crack. Okay, it's not anywhere in the middle. It's the very end that happens on. Same thing happens with us. This is kind of like this whip of sorts. Okay, as we come up, we want a focal point in the same spot. Now, a trick I like to use is to find something. I always use a music stand whenever I teach this. Put that music stand about where your level of hands are. It's different for everybody depending on your height. Mark some places on there. You can find that around your house too. You can use a table or a chair or something. Just get it on your height. Okay, and we're going to make sure we hit that same place every time. And then going forward, we're going to modify that a little bit depending upon our time signature, but you want to make sure that we're always focusing on the same thing. It's focal point. There are some times we can use non-focal point, and we can use those if the show calls for it or if any time you wanted to, but generally we want that to happen. Okay, so before we move on, please review all of the things we've done so far. Okay, getting our hand position. Now I want you to really look and just kind of play around and find out what works best for you. Now for me, sometimes when I get the band ready to start and we do a count off, my hands are a little higher, so like we talked about that eye communication. Then as we get going, I may move down just a little bit. It's still in the same area. It's a little different. So it may be different for you. If you're one who may be a little bit shorter than other people, you may be a little bit higher, a little taller, maybe a little lower. It's different for everybody. We want to make sure that we're at least in between our heart and kind of our nose. Okay, so it's a pretty small box. We want to make sure that we're kind of in that box. All right, so as we're going, so we get to position of attention. Focal point is this imaginary spot that you need to practice and get used to hitting every single time, no matter the tempo. Okay, we want to make sure tip of our fingers are getting that ictus. All right.